we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
So when the cameras started rolling at that press conference, Teofimo Lopez didn't hold back. He delivered a vicious promise to Shakur Stevenson, declaring he's going to make him pay when they step between those ropes. Everyone's writing him off as the underdog, but Lopez made one thing crystal clear. He's about to remind everyone exactly what he brings to the table. This isn't just talk either. He's guaranteeing a performance so commanding that when the final bell rings, there won't be a single question mark left about his skills, his power, or his hunger. The way Lopez carried himself, you could see it in his eye. This man is locked in, completely dialed in for what's coming with Shakur Stevenson. He's not just confident, he's borderline scary with how focused he is. Lopez keeps repeating the same message over and over. He's going to take over that ring, and everyone's gonna witness exactly what separates him from the rest.
I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Look, Lopez knows exactly what's on the line here. While his mind might drift to tropical beaches and cold drinks, his heart is locked on one thing. That belt around his waist isn't going anywhere, especially not to Shakur Stevenson. This title didn't just fall into his lap. Every single day that led to this moment was filled with sacrifice, grinding through pain that would break most people, and pushing past limits he didn't even know existed. When Lopez talks about this fight, it's not business, it's deeply personal. This championship represents every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt he overcame, every sacrifice his family made along the way. He's not about to let someone waltz in and snatch away what cost him everything to achieve. The fire you hear in his voice, that's years of dedication talking. Nobody gets to take what you've bled for, and Lopez plans to make that lesson stick.
Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson, obviously you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny and the boxing ring to decide.
Now here's how this whole thing might actually play out according to the breakdown. This fight's probably going 12 full rounds, but those opening 6 are going to set the entire tone. Don't expect Shakur to come flying out of his corner throwing bombs. That's not his style. He's gonna hang back, stay patient, and study exactly what Lopez brings to the table. But here's the thing that could flip everything. If Teofimo comes out blazing and steals those early rounds, suddenly Shakur's got a problem. He'll have to abandon that cautious approach and start taking risks he didn't want to take. Lopez feeds off that early momentum. He's always been that type of fighter who needs to establish dominance right away. The big question mark hanging over this whole fight is whether he can keep that same intensity burning for 12 straight rounds. Because if Shakur realizes he's down on the scorecards heading into the back half, that's when things get dangerous. He'll start opening up, and those final rounds could turn into an absolute war. But flip the script, and if Lopez stumbles early, Shakur could just box his way to an easy decision victory.
Because I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Tio in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Tio can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds. If it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, you know, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in.
What really drives Shakur Stevenson is this burning need to test himself against the absolute best. When he watched Lopez's recent performance, something clicked. The way Teo moved with that flashy confidence, it reminded him of watching a young Roy Jones, and instantly he knew he had to share the ring with that kind of talent. This fight represents everything Shakur's been working toward, a chance to measure himself against elite-level opposition while implementing a completely new strategic approach. His experience against William Aida taught him valuable lessons, even though that fight didn't go according to plan. It was messy and uncomfortable, but it showed him something crucial about his own character. When fighters try to break him down with constant pressure, he doesn't crumble. Instead, he finds ways to adapt and overcome. That fight proved he could handle chaos and turn it into opportunity. Now with Lopez coming at him, Stevenson feels like all those difficult moments prepared him for exactly this type of challenge. The speed, the power, the unpredictability that Lopez brings, none of it phases him anymore. His preparation has been thorough, his mindset is clear, and he believes he has all the tools necessary to pass this ultimate test.
But bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's going to have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down so much.
Right.
Chris Algieri sees something special in this matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, something the sport desperately needs more of. This is exactly the type of fight boxing should be delivering, where elite fighters put everything on the line against each other instead of playing it safe. Sure, somebody's gonna lose, but that doesn't diminish their status in the division. True champions take these risks, and both fighters deserve credit for stepping up. Don't expect this to turn into some wild slugfest with punches flying non-stop. That's not what makes this fight special. The technical brilliance and strategic chess match unfolding in real time, that's what will have fans glued to their seats. Every movement matters. Every adjustment could shift the entire fight. If Shakur wins this convincingly, he's immediately jumping into that pound-for-pound top 5 conversation, though many believe he already belongs there. This whole setup feels like stepping back in time to those legendary era matchups when the best fighters in each weight class actually fought each other. The anticipation building around this fight, the technical intrigue, the historical significance, it all combines to create something truly special in modern boxing.
Or the health of boxing on this side of the world. You know, listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say.
I mean,
yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth saying, like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where
Bruce Carrington identified the one thing that could completely derail Teofimo Lopez's game plan against Shakur Stevenson: movement. Lopez might be naturally gifted with serious knockout power, but when opponents start switching angles and controlling distance, he struggles to adapt. Stevenson's composure under pressure and his tactical intelligence are perfectly designed to exploit exactly that weakness. By forcing Lopez to constantly readjust and chase him around the ring, Stevenson can make Lopez fight an uncomfortable fight instead of the aggressive battle Lopez prefers. Here's the deeper issue for Lopez. His entire approach relies on explosive moments and overwhelming opponents with aggressive combinations, but against someone as patient and mobile as Stevenson, that strategy could backfire completely. Every time Lopez loads up for something big, Stevenson's already gone, resetting the distance and starting fresh. That type of frustration builds up over rounds, and it drains energy faster than anything else. Lopez needs to completely rethink his approach if he wants to solve the Stevenson puzzle. This isn't about athleticism anymore, it's about chess moves and ring intelligence. Stevenson's defensive awareness and ability to make opponents miss while staying in position to counter, that's gonna test Lopez in ways he might not be prepared for.
I feel like Teo is gonna bring the fight. He's very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, you know, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, you know, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, you know, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Tio get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. Then both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but I feel like it's still gonna be an exciting fight.
Gary Antoine Russell breaks down exactly which version of Teofimo Lopez needs to show up against Shakur Stevenson. Look at how Lopez performed against Vasily Lomachenko. That's the template for success. The way he combined relentless pressure with smart decision-making, never letting emotion override strategy. When Lopez fights with that controlled aggression, staying disciplined while pushing the pace, he becomes incredibly difficult to handle. He forces opponents into uncomfortable positions, while keeping himself protected from counters. That balance between intensity and intelligence transforms him into a completely different fighter. Russell emphasizes how Lopez's success depends on full commitment to the game plan, using his athleticism strategically rather than just overwhelming opponents with raw power. When everything clicks for Lopez, when he's patient with his timing but explosive with his execution, even elite level fighters struggle to find answers.
Drag you to take him up on that offense. Why? Because you got to strap and you play with him.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's going to do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win this fight. Whatever happens.
Right, because you made a statement after he said, "Oh, let's see, I'm gonna go back down to 35." So which one is it, man? He kind of 6'7" with it.
There you go.
Come on, which one is it?
So let's talk about 140 then, because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online, one that you have history with, and you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next after my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary, just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now, this fight, your fight coming up. Maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. In order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So,
the key difference Russell points out is how Lopez's power becomes even more dangerous when he sets it up properly. Instead of just throwing bombs and hoping they land, the strategic version of Lopez picks his spots, waits for the right openings, and then delivers devastating shots without leaving himself exposed. By studying that Lomachenko performance, you can see how Lopez's effectiveness isn't just about his physical gifts, though those obviously matter. It's about mental approach, staying composed under pressure, and executing a smart game plan from start to finish. When Lopez brings that combination of strategic thinking and explosive ability, that's when he becomes a serious problem for anyone in the division, including someone as skilled as Shakur Stevenson.
Oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur he got a lot in his arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious, as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight.
Right.
You know, but if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko,
That wraps up everything we needed to cover today. Make sure you stay locked in, because there's plenty more coming your way soon.